Now, the rest of the story.
Welcome back to the rest of the story. So I'm cutting second cut alfalfa, and we only really have this one field of alfalfa. Oh, I can't say that. We got this, and I got a couple strips out of my brother's place I'm gonna knock down, but all our new seeding, which we only had like 5.5 acres of oats of new seeding that I gotta knock out. I really started this day with a lot greater goals than what I currently have. That's just because of things changing as the days progressed. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning with the intentions of cutting by 6 o'clock, and it turns out it's 1:46. I didn't get started till 11:30. Combination of calling and locating parts and ordering parts that are going to take a week to get them here, and dealing with suppliers and you know, just different things that you really weren't planning on having to deal with today. I'm already backed off how much I'm going to cut. I'm already going to do about half of what I intended to cut, and it all depends on how far I get in the next hour or two, but I'm probably not even going to be cutting half of what I really intended. I was planning on doing this alfalfa because it needs it. I mean, once this stuff's already starting to get a few random flowers here and there, but I was planning on going down and finishing that last 40 acres of grass down at the valley. It'll wait. Yes, we still have a bunch of first cut to make. I've had to explain that to different people here off and on here lately. It's not the end of the world. The reason it's not the end of the world is because I didn't plan on making first cut down at the valley until July. So seems how it's the 1st of July today. I'm actually still ahead of schedule for making the valley, because we already got over 80 acres made off that down there. That's growing back really nicely, by the way. The liquid 32 and the rain we managed to get has really helped that. But even the second cut of that, I'm still not planning on making it till late August, early September. It might surprise me, but at the same time, I don't know if I really want to risk taking a second cut off the valley earlier than I really intend on, and then find out that third cut is just going to sputter out and not be worth cutting. So, it's grass. It'll keep as long as it's still standing. Yes, it's matured. Doesn't really bother me. I'm going to say this again. It doesn't matter if it's perfectly made first cut grass or overripe late cut first cut grass. When you go to sell it, all I have to say is first cut grass, and it's going to be priced as first cut grass. Would I be alright if it was all made back in June when the weather decided to give us that week to 10 days of drying weather? Yeah. I got really close to cutting that last 45 acres. I'm extremely glad that I didn't, because if I would have cut it, I would have lost it. Because then we got into that wet weather stretch, which actually we are in a wet weather spell, or however you want to say it. So we're just kind of dealing with the crops and weather as it happens. The problem with alfalfa, if it gets overripe, it starts to get woody and stemmy, and the cows really don't want to eat it. And this field in particular is my brother's. He needs all the hay he can get. He doesn't have a whole lot of hay acres, so he needs a bale a day to get his cattle through the winter. And I believe he's got, what does he have? Not quite 2 months worth of hay. And he figures he's going to be feeding sometime late November, early December. For us, for me, for my dad, I mean, I'm feeding all summer already, for the most part. For the cattle that are down at my place, which does include some of my cows, I'm actually waiting till mid to late December, first part of the year. The reason I say that is because I've been letting the cows out into the field, and I let the cows clean up the corn residue and the waterways and the fence rows, and because we don't have as many cows down there as that can really handle yet, I mean, the cattle numbers are growing, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to start dumping feed out for them unless they really need it. So as far as my plans kind of getting shook up, they added rain in the forecast on Monday. Today is Thursday. The plans were to let it lay till Sunday, rake it, bale it, and haul it in Monday. They're calling for rain Monday now, when it was originally supposed to be Tuesday, because originally my plans were to cut this, the new seeding. I got about 10 acre, 12 acres out of my brother's place that is my dad's hay that I want to get cut. And then, you know, it's like 45 acres of the field ground plus 12, 15, where are we at? So 45 plus, so 57. We're just gonna say 65 acres of first cutting yet. But that's 100% grass, and grass, unless you really feed the crop, you're not going to get really more than 2 cuttings off of it. So probably part of the reason why I'm not super duper urgent in getting it made. Plus I need it dry. We don't have any readily available options to make wet, rained on hay. We're not even rained on hay, just wet hay to wrap it or anything else like that. We have to line up a wrapper. For Dad and Ryan that are feeding out, Ryan, who's feeding out 100% of his hay, would be just fine with that. He's already talked about doing it. Dad's, he can still sell a bunch of his for what his cows don't need. And the problem is when you wrap it, silage bales aren't worth anything up here in this area. If you really want to make any money selling much of any hay, it needs to be dry. To get $50, $60 for a bale of wrapped silage bales, it's not worth the headache, it's not worth the hassle, and honestly I think you'd be breaking even, and just can't have that. I've only seen one other person online, which I don't watch many ag channels. I'm actually watching even less, which is kind of hard to believe. Even fewer than what I used to watch, so it's just kind of getting to that point where even he says, with the way things are, all it takes is a single rain shower to turn $200 a ton material to $80 a ton material. because once it gets rained on, which he was talking about alfalfa, I'm talking about really grass, your quality goes backwards. Could I have gone through and cut all my hay and had it down on the ground ready to be made? Yeah. Then if it would have gotten rained on and it starts to, say if I don't get a chance to get it made and it starts to rot in the field, it starts to rot, you're losing weight. I mean, there's no argument there. I lost thousands of dollars just in the loss of material from having my first and second cut, you know, the different cuttings last year, where they'd gotten rained on for several days, and I finally got it made, and it's starting to rot, to deteriorate, and it gets that rotten, not even just rotten smell, but where you know it's been rained on. And then when you try to sell that stuff, they're not going to look at it. Nobody's going to look at it and go, this is high quality cow feed or beef cow feed or horse feed, which I don't really care what market my stuff goes to. I'm really just more worried about making a profit at the end of the day. I guess my stuff, I've sold hay that's gone to beef, to horses, to goats, possibly sheep. And yeah, I would like to be able to make 3 cuttings of grass at set certain intervals, but the opportunity to actually do it is kind of sporadic. Even as far as making the hay I'm doing right now, they were originally calling for rain all weekend, and then they pulled the rain out back to Tuesday, and then they took the rain out of Tuesday as of this morning, and then they put it in on Monday. So my plans were to cut enough that I could have baled Sunday, Monday, and while I was baling Monday, we could have hauled in. We could have had people hauling in on Monday, but the problem is there's only 2 of us here to make this stuff, so it just doesn't make sense to knock a whole lot of hay down and not have enough people around to get it put up and hauled off the field. And the other problem is because it's the 4th of July weekend, today's the 1st, and because it's on a Sunday, I think, I mean, we're celebrating on the 3rd, but the reason is there's a lot of businesses. My parts guy, they don't work Monday. I could call him up, bug him, assuming he's in the area, but I don't think he's going to be around, and he can get me parts. So that's another issue about getting hay made, especially on a holiday weekend. So if you're just going to make it Sunday, okay, something breaks, hopefully the weather's going to hold out, you can get parts Monday. But here's the problem. Everybody's going to be gone Saturday at noon, and then you got Sunday, Monday without any way to really get parts. I almost guarantee you that's when something is going to break on me. And that's why I'm just trying to keep it simple as far as what we're making right now. At least we're getting something made. We're not sitting on our hands and letting the crop just get overgrown in the field. The other thing about the valley, the last thing I'll say about that, is that field has the interseeding grass in it. And with it being interseeded, it was dry, so it really didn't have that good of a established stand yet of that new seeding. And once it finally started raining, the stuff took off. So I also wanted to give it as much time as possible to get that new seeding established before I go through and knocking around, cutting and raking and hauling hay off the field. Because by this time last year, July 3rd, we were down there cutting the bottom for the first time that, you know, got a bunch of rain on it and ruined it. And we actually cut the field ground, or the bench. I prefer just calling it the bench. We cut the bench for the second time, and we only got 20 bales off the bench. And if memory serves me right, I actually baled the last 5 bales of that in the rain. So to say last year was just a little bit of a challenge, to say it'd be an understatement. The remark I had lately about need to reassess and do stuff better and get everything done in a week. Ideally, that'd be great. That's kind of the plan. We've bought a lot of stuff here lately since the first of the year. I mean, a couple trailers and grain auger, another machine. But where I'm currently at is another disc bind, another round baler, another tractor. Say it's awesome that Kuhn has sent us more last year and this year, but next year going from having 2 machines available to back to only having 1. It's going to make things interesting next year. Another round baler would be a big perk. We don't need another rake. I like the Rhino rake. That 14-wheel RDF 14 Rhino rake, which is a 28-foot wide rake, that can stay ahead of 2 balers easily. Maybe not in second or third cut, but first cut, which to me is where it really counts, the rake can stay ahead of 2 balers. And would I do the mower or the baler first over the tractor? Possibly. Last winter I was looking at 946 mower conditioners, the 13-foot ones, you know, because a wider machine would be better. I like this one. It's 11.5 or 11.6. I like having a narrower machine for doing pastures and waterways and those places where you probably don't want a really huge machine, wide machine. I was looking at motor conditioners, and good timing. It was good bad timing because I wasn't looking for a round baler, but locally there was a 569 John Deere Premium for sale with the right price on it, where I would have put an acid applicator on it because I've explained enough why now that I want the preservative, or at least access to it, or the ability to put it on if I feel I want to put it on. Well, I got dangerously close to buying that 569 just because I had the money in the right place at the right wrong time, and there really wasn't anything stopping me from buying the baler other than I had other things planned for that money, which I think after this year you'll probably start seeing me making more larger purchases. I had the ability to, which is largely why you're seeing my dad making a lot of the purchases here lately. I could have, like I said, I've had a few chances here where there was a 7810 I almost bought, or I was really thinking about it. That soybean head that I did buy, or phrase that I wanted anyway, it was a 925 bean head. It was at an auction. The guy It was listed for sale. I won it for, what was it, 10 grand? But then they packaged it all back up with the corn head and the combine, and $500 more, and the other guy got the works, so kind of lost out on that one, which, no, it's all right. But updating and infrastructure, things are changing, improving. Prices here lately are getting awesomer, which I don't believe is a accepted word, but prices are getting awesomer, and we're really not worried too much there. So I don't know. Another tractor, which I know you guys are getting probably tired of me crying wolf on saying I knew this or knew that, but a lot of it's just really making sure I got money around to do what I need it to do, largely putting my money to work and not just buying stuff. So a lot of the purchases I look at making are purchases that are going to make me my money back, and I can justify another tractor. It would not having another available tractor last year cost me, what was it, 10, 20,000? So you start having more and more instances like that adding up, and you can justify another tractor. I don't know what I want. I can't pay $200 and some thousand for a new 6R, because I don't know why they came up across on Tractor House, of course, so you window shop. But I was actually seeing a bunch of information on them online on YouTube that were coming up. The 6250Rs. They got a pretty handy chore tractor. It's really meant for road running on top of it, and that's what I really want right now. Just because you want something doesn't mean you're going to get it, but something else to complement this tractor. Front wheel assist can help get it out of bad situations, and a lot more comfortable for everybody to run, because the 46, the 4020 anymore now, you start running those for long hours and they start to get hard on you. Your back, your knees. I got back issues. I mean, I've had back surgery. My knees, nothing else is really bad, but in the 46, my knees usually get sore by the end of the day running that after 10, 12, 16 hours or so. The 4020, just by design, it's just a more uncomfortable machine to run. Still handle it. I mean, it's still run it, of course, but just the way things are, you got to keep updating stuff to keep people interested in being around and making farming fun, because even my grandpa said that a few times growing up, where, well, you got to keep some things updated, because otherwise it just gets monotonous and old and kind of boring after a while. Which is, yeah, I see that. So I don't know. Things actually look pretty good going forward. Last summer, they just, with the way the prices looked, it didn't, but locking in prices now at where they're at and where they're going, we're actually sitting pretty good. Just about done with this field. I actually talked a lot longer than I thought I would, to be honest. Otherwise, I guess I would have started earlier. But I'm going to keep moving. I can actually go about another year or two faster if I could concentrate more on what I'm doing. And I think this is actually going to be one of those years where making hay is just going to be kind of a perpetual job that's going to be on our minds, where normally August is like January, where August you're caught up in everything. and you're just doing odds and ends around the farm. You got to get the combine pulled out by the end of summer, but there's not much that needs to really be done to it. Just, you know, air filters, oil filters, engine oil and hydraulic filters are going to be changed. The knives on the back end, I think we're going to go through and change those for when we're running soybeans through it, to break up the stalks a little bit better. And I'm excited for selling corn, selling beans, and selling hay. Because I guess I'm talking about hay an awful lot anymore, but actually it's a lot of fun anymore actually being able to make hay and looking at, you're not just dumping it out to the cows to get rid of it. That's actually worth something. So with where I'm currently at, I don't know if I've mentioned this or said it online, but I'm currently sitting at 2/3 of, where am I at? I'm 100 and, no, okay, I'm 200 bales short of being where I was last year as far as having hay to sell. And I have, that's only with 2/3 of my hay being made yet, because I still have the 45 acres plus about 12 acres of waterways approximately, and then I have all of second cut, and second cut is coming back like, well, with a vengeance actually. And you guys saw that ground down the valley that I cleaned out with the 4155 brush cutter. We got a bunch of rain the other night, like over an inch, so all of those dry areas, those low spots that like to collect moisture that I was driving through with this are currently holding water, but I am planning on cutting as much of that as possible, and you guys are going to be seeing that. I'm having a harder time doing the action videos where I voice over them because I'm a dad, and sitting in front of the computer for hours every night trying to do the videos, I can't. I literally can't. It's taking up too much of my Relina time. And if I only get to see her for a little bit in the morning and a little bit I see her at night, the videos are gonna be more of just me sitting and talking. I can't help it. I'm picking my kid over trying to make more and more videos. I simply can't do it. So with that, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you care to support the channel. As far as commenting goes, what are your plans, or what were your plans for 4th of July? Because I don't know when this video is going to come out. Probably for the 3rd. So what are you guys planning to do tomorrow? I imagine by now, I really just got to get stuff ready for our get together. So until next time, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I think it's about time to grab a gear and disappear. I'll talk to you later.